Welcome to episode 48 of the Rebel Army podcast, the official podcast of Cork City Football Club, and this week we catch up with Conor Drinan. Back with the podcast, joined as always by Mr. Howey. It's been a quiet week.
It has quite a weekend.
Nothing really happened.
Yeah. If only it was that easy.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the elephant in the room, we probably discussed it, I suppose, where our manager has parted ways with us off his own accord.
Yeah. Tim stepped down after the game last Friday against Derry. So obviously very disappointing to see him go. League winning manager.
Yeah.
Was there for a very successful year last year in terms of the wins and all that, but he's stepped aside now, and
it came as a surprise, I'd say, to a lot of people at the club. Like, you know, obviously we sat here last week and we played a bit of his press conference and stuff like that, like, and he was talking about a lot of the players coming back from injury, and you know, so you know, we definitely didn't see this coming. Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I imagine it's a surprise to everybody. But one of those things that I suppose we just have to motor on now and get somebody new in. You know, we confirmed this morning that Liam Kearney and Greg Elverton are kind of running the show for Friday. But getting a new manager in is top priority, and that's sort of well underway now, the process. So. And Liam and Greg have been kind of filling in Jamie's role anyway for the last kind of couple of weeks.
Yeah, they've both been involved, so it's not a case of, you know, people coming in and just having to fall in and take the reins for Friday. They obviously know the players. They've been working with the players for a few weeks, as you said. So, that'll see us through Friday. And as I said, the process to get a new manager in is well underway. So, hopefully we'll have news on it soon.
Yeah, and I know, look, there's lots of, you know, speculation and everything, but there's no decision being made, I'd imagine. Like, you know, like, the club will release it when it happens.
Yeah.
Because, that's the one thing that I've noticed this week is, like, we are, like, you know, we talked about it before, the club is a big club, but, like, you'd notice when the likes of the Independent and RT and News Talk, and we're a hot topic at the moment. Like,
if something happens at Cork City, no matter what it is, people are talking about it in the media, in the fans, all around the country. People are talking about it. So, that's part of it. That's, I suppose, part of being one of the biggest football clubs in the country, and that's just have to deal with that.
But you caught up with Liam today, did you?
Yeah, so we had the press conference today. Liam Kearney was the one in the hot seat, so he kind of spoke about their focus for the weekend.
It's been, I suppose, a whirlwind of a week in terms of, obviously, Tim stepped away Friday night. So obviously, first thing you make sure is that the players understand the situation. I suppose from our point of view, as staff coming in Monday morning, that, you know, we have a meeting first of all with the staff that we have. Myself, Craig Yelverton, Greg Bulger, obviously Damien, and strength and conditioning as well. So met the players, explained the situation, explained what the week was going to look like from our point of view with them.
Yeah.
And obviously anyone who wanted to speak to us individually about how they felt about the situation as well. So we've addressed everything with the group, and any individual feeling any way about it, because I've been there myself. When a manager leaves, certain players can be very close to the manager, but I suppose what we're just trying to do is listen, our preparations this week, everything that we're doing is to get the best out of them for Friday night's game.
Did the staff or players have any idea before Friday night that Tim would step away after the Derry game, would lose a draw?
No, I think it kind of came as a surprise to all of us. As I said, look, I came out after the game on Friday night, and, you know, as I came out, we had a chat, and Tim kind of just basically said, look, it's time now. So, you know, try to have a think about go home, sleep and whatever, but he was, you know, he felt quite strongly at that time. So respect everything that he's done for us. You know, he got us back into the Premier Division, worked tirelessly. Myself and Hamo did a great job. And I suppose coming in, as I said, Monday morning, then our focus, myself, the two Gregs, is to get the lads ready for this week.
He said in an interview this week, Liam, Tim himself, that he was exhausted and he got burnout. Did you notice that he was exhausted and burnout yourselves?
I suppose the way the results have been going as well, it's like it can be a weight on you as well. And I think obviously, you know, performances, we feel have been quite good. It's just we've been getting caught with goals, sloppy goals that we know we should be doing better with. But so look, I think obviously, you might have been tired from maybe up and down the road as well. Obviously with family commitments, so it can be difficult that way. But in terms of application within the group, I think seeing the boys, they were all playing for them. Everyone was going through the wall to try and find results. It wasn't for lack of effort that the results aren't coming. So yeah, it could have been a factor.
Yeah, I said it was kind of a combination of factors, really. Like as you said, the travelling side was tiring. Jamie went and wasn't replaced. He's talking about structures in place. Big club like Cork City, maybe hinting at a lack of investment. So there was a good number of issues there. Was there for?
Yeah, look, again, I suppose that isn't something that I can answer for Trevor. I think for me, as I said, that's a separate conversation with separate people. We come in this week, our full focus is getting the lads ready, putting a plan in place, that they're confident, they understand their roles and responsibilities within it. We know it's a huge game going up the road to play Pats. Very strong team, very, obviously experienced manager in Stephen. So we know ourselves that, from our point of view, that this week is being all about us, how we're going to get ready for that game, and obviously getting fellas' spirits high again and ready to go.
Yeah, and do you personally feel that Cork City needs a Cork manager, or at least a manager based in Cork?
I think definitely based in Cork and being able to give absolutely entrenched within the club. From my point of view, I'm head of the academy, so I suppose with Tim, in fairness, was brilliant in terms of giving players opportunities. You can see the amount of young players that have flourished because of that opportunity. So again, similar lines as Tim from that point of view, that wants to know about the young players that are coming through, where they're at, when they're going to be ready, and I suppose that communication with me. But very much I think it's important that they're based here and have the time, that they're living the experience of being in Cork City Football Club, and I suppose just having that time and availability.
So you're picking the team for Friday with Pats. Have you been told how long you'll be in there for? Is it 1 game, 2 games? Have you been informed?
I think the club, they're working, I think, very hard on obviously a new manager. We're hoping that hopefully by the end of the week, someone's going to be in place to take the role. But I'm not, as I said, I've been told to come in, give a dig out, and as I said, myself, Greg Bolger, get Greg Elverton to get them ready for this week, and I suppose that's all we're focusing on for now.
Yeah, and obviously you look at the table, it's not where you want to be. You'd be crippled with injuries, obviously. Second bottom, 1 win in the last 13. Are spirits okay in that regard? That knowing players are coming back and that you've been in most games.
Yeah, so even if you look at Friday night, and it was very disappointing again to concede a goal how we did. Having gotten back into the game, I suppose you've always the positive mentality that we're going to go on and win the game. I suppose, I've been used to that in my own career, and I think in the cross, when we get the ball moving and show what we're capable in the second half, I felt we were the team that we're going to go on and win it. But again, our own undoing, I think from a set piece, losing a marker, those kind of unacceptable things have been happening, and those kind of things in terms of not stopping crosses. The things that we can control a little bit better are things that we need to be better at. Our problem isn't playing football. You see, I think there's been nobody outplayed us this season in terms of football, bar maybe Shamrock Rovers away from home that night. We didn't perform. Every other game, I feel very confident that we're in it, that we could win the game. Now, results have been results, but we have to rectify those mistakes that we're making, and we have to do it fast. Because slowly but surely you hear people say, Cork City can't go down. We have gone down. So we need to be very aware that we need to get this fixed as quick as possible.
And players come back. Great to see Shawnee get minutes, obviously, against Derry. So in terms of the team, there's still a good squad despite a few injuries. There's fighting for places. So it's not going to be easy to get starting 11, I'd say, is it, for Pats?
Yeah, and that's what you want. Any great team that has been in the club has been a case that every week lads are training hard to get into the team. And that's what you want, fighting for places. The intensity of training's automatically higher because you want to show that you're doing more than someone in your position. So having the likes of Shawnee, not just getting back to fit, but having him on the training pitch, having him in the meeting rooms with his feedback, his information, and Sean Murray, these type of experienced lads. The more you have of them on the pitch, the young lads that we have, it helps them as well. So they'll learn as well, and they're learning to be professional footballers, to be winners I don't mean just winners in terms of trophies, how they train, their attitude off the pitch, how they live their life. These type of players, having them on the pitch and available to us, brings everything together. And the wins that we're looking for will come from that as well.
And what's key to get a result on Friday? Do you think against Pat's obviously one of the top sides in the league? What's key for you to get a positive result up there?
I think we have to be very organised. They're a very good football team. As I said, from start of the week, we've put a plan in place that we're working towards. Obviously, the biggest thing for us at the moment is not conceding goals. I think if we
no clean sheet yet.
No clean sheet. Can we work towards that on Friday night? For whatever reason, that might not come about, but you're looking at small indicators to say we threw ourselves on the line for that. We stopped the crosses. We don't lose runners in the box. So all those little things that have cost us. There's been a big emphasis this week on being aware of that. We can see where they're coming from, but the players on the pitch are the ones that could carry out stopping those things. And then implementing our style of play, because we have fantastic young footballers and experienced footballers that for us, when you look at any of our goals, how they're scored, it's because of patterns, good football, overlaps, crosses in the box. So we are a very good football team. Results at the moment haven't been there, but that's because we're not doing the ugly stuff well enough.
The last one for me, Liam, can you give us any hint at all who's coming in as a permanent manager? Is he a Cork man?
I'm not prevalent to those conversations, so at the moment I wouldn't know.
Does yourself, have you applied for the job? Is this something you'd be interested in yourself?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My job is big enough with the academy and I really enjoy it. As I said, it's a big job on top of this job at the moment. So no, certainly I wouldn't be experienced enough for that role.
Even long term, is that the aim, maybe to one day manage Cork City in years to come? Or?
Yeah, maybe down the line. As I said, at the moment, it's certainly not a huge aspiration of mine. I love being involved with the first team. It's, as I said, this is my club. It means a lot to be here, and it's an honour to be even in this position in a difficult time as it is. You know, it is an honour to be in the role for the 1 week that it is.
Yeah, just in terms of, you mentioned the experience there, have you completed your coaching badges or what's it?
So I at the moment I'd have to do the pro license as well. So, but as I said, look, it's at the moment I think where we're at and how things are, we need a far more experienced person in charge to implement, a strategy going forward to ultimately keep us in the division.
Yeah, have you ever been in this position before? Step in over the years.
Yeah, I suppose I've been helping out now probably for the bones of 8 weeks here in this situation when Hamo's left. I think when Colin came in, or Colin went that time as well, that I came in to help Richie Holland. So listen, I think as a head of academy, you're always, around the building. Your role is separate, but at the same time, you're connected to it from communication point of view anyway. So it's probably a natural thing to step in when these situations happen.
It's quite clear from that Liam definitely is only in short term. He's happy to hand over the reins to someone else.
Yeah, he's himself and Greg, and the current setup is just in place for Friday's game for now. So,
and they both have other positions. I mean, Greg is in UCC.
Liam's head of academy,
and
as
Liam's
he said.
Head of the academy. And obviously Liam has been on twice on this podcast, and it's you see the passion he has for the academy. He doesn't want to give that up.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job in terms of developing players there, as we see. How many times have we spoken about academy players being involved in the first team and that? So, he was very clear there in saying that he has no interest in being in the mix for it, or doesn't feel like he's experienced enough to be involved at a permanent manager level. So,
is this his first time ever managing the club, though?
I would think so. Yeah, as he said there, he's been involved in a couple of times. He's had to fall in and help with people. But is he managing? I don't know. Is it technically, is the term manager? Is he the manager for Friday, or is he just kind of steering the ship for Friday? Yeah,
someone has to pick the team. Who'd imagine?
True. Yeah.
So, it's I'd imagine it's a big moment for him as well.
Yeah, and he said that how proud he is to be the person to lead it. He's very clear on the fact that Cork City is his club, and I know he gets a slagging when we had him on here about going to Shells that time, but Cork City is his club. He's a Cork City legend. Everyone at the club and around the club has a great time for him.
Very bad to him at the time.
Yeah, I heard about it. I don't remember it myself, but I've heard about it. But he's very well loved and respected at the club, so that feeling is reciprocated from him to the club. So it is a huge,
and of course,
proud moment for him.
Some of the squad have come through the academy under him as well.
Yeah, a good chunk of them. Yeah,
so that he'd know them quite well. But yeah, so look, it's not an easy game away to Pats.
Pats away, yeah.
You know, that's going to be
traditionally a difficult place to go anyway.
Traditionally, yeah. So I suppose going back to the Derry game, I suppose, look, there was one or two errors there. I mean, the first goal was, I was kind of, you could say that there was just a bit of a mess up at the back, and the ball went in. It was kind of frustrating more than anything for the lads. I'd say it was just one of those things. And then I suppose when we equalised, and the momentum was with them, and potentially you could, again, potentially if there was VAR in the League of Ireland, could there have been a penalty for Harvey? I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those frustrating ones where you have a penalty shot at one end and then goes down the other end.
There's nothing worse when that happens.
Very frustrating as a fan to watch, isn't it?
Because maybe the players are zoned into that moment as well, where they're on the attack. City definitely had them on the ropes, the small, but they're in that second half. It was night and day between the first half and the second half, kind of in terms of, I just thought they were a much better team, pushing forward in the second half, and then they got that sucker punch then to get...
Yeah, and even the goal we did score, I suppose, it was another one kind of similar in the Rovers game. I suppose the way Gennaro scored into the shed, first goal into the shed as well. I know he'd got 2 against Drogheda last week, but the reaction of the ground, it was brilliant. I know we had a slightly smaller crowd than previous games, but still that energy when the goal went in, it was brilliant. As you said, everyone would have been hoping we'd go on and get another one then afterwards, because it was kind of the momentum and the adrenaline was with us. But very disappointing.
Obviously, Gennaro got injured. Another injury.
Yeah, another one. Now I don't know how serious that is or what. I haven't seen him since.
But Shawnee did come on, so that was one.
Shawnee came on towards the end. Yeah, I think he came on for the 10 added minutes.
It was long injury.
Big stoppage towards the end. So great to see him back on the pitch. That's been something everyone's been looking forward to and talking about and asking when is Shawnee back. So brilliant to see him back.
And hopefully get more minutes against Pats at the weekend. But second bottom hasn't been an easy start to the season. We talked about this last week. We talked about it on one or two of the episodes. But who knows? Let's hope we get a new manager bounce. I mean, we talk about that. Waterford had a delayed reaction. Thankfully, it didn't happen against us.
They didn't get it against us. Yeah.
But it had happened after that. And they've done, I think they've won 3 out of 4 or something like that. Something along those lines. Anyway, they've done quite well. So who knows? So maybe there might be some positive results coming up. But it's a big week for the club coming up. But it wasn't the only defeat of the weekend. The women lost on Saturday as well.
Yeah, that was a disappointing one as well. I spoke to Frank after the game. Yeah, it was a 4-0 defeat. Frank was frustrated again that it was set pieces with the main sort of place. The goals are coming against us. That's been the case in a couple of games this season. So Frank was disappointed but still upbeat because it was good spells, he said, particularly in the first half, that he was happy with. But yeah, that game ends a run of home games for the men's team and the women's team. We've had, I think, 5 or 6 home games across the two over the last couple of weeks. So everyone's on the road now for the next couple of weeks. So frustrating one. But next up for the women's team then is DLR Waves on Saturday, who have played 7, lost 7. Still a good team, but the results haven't shown that. But it's probably the game that you'd want to be going into after
a defeat like that. Yeah.
After a couple of defeats at home over the last couple of weeks. So we will be keeping an eye on that one for Saturday and hoping for a good result there as well.
How did the academy get on over the weekend?
Everyone was in action. All of the boys' teams played Cove Ramblers. I know we spoke about that before, how it feels everyone is playing the same teams.
Playing the same team, yeah.
So on Saturday, the men's under-20s beat Cove 3-1. Liam Quinn, Reece Kelly-Noonan, and then a Cove own goal were the goals there. The women's under-17s lost 3-2 to Waterford. Shania West and Amy McCarthy with the goals for City. Big win for the 15s then. They were 5-1 against Cove. The women's 19s on Sunday won 5-1 away to Bray Wanderers. Ciara O'Driscoll, Lucia Lynch, Laura Falvey, Eva Loftus and Mia Cudahy got the goals on that. Men's 17s had a 3-2 win over Cove Ramblers. They'd been behind. They were in front. Cove equalised. They were behind. Donal O'Connor got an equaliser towards the end, and then Calvin O'Sullivan O'Shea got a 97th minute winner. So that was a big one. And then the men's under-14s also beat Cove Ramblers, 4-0 win. JD Foley, Destiny O'Grady, Tom Mulconry and Fiona Flaherty with the goals in that one.
Good results overall.
Good weekend.
But so last week on the podcast we said we'd try and get somebody in for this week because we haven't had a player in a while and we've managed to secure one. So we caught up this week with Conor Drinan, who has been out on the injury.
He's been out for a while and he's been on the recovery. Funnily enough, I was filming a bit of training last week and I spotted that Conor was he was off the main pitch doing his own work, doing a bit of running and stuff. And we haven't really had somebody in who's dealing with that side of it. You know, we've had players in who are kind of coming from training sessions after games and stuff, but we haven't had a player who's
long-term injury
in a long-term injury and doing a hell of a lot of work to recover from that long-term injury. So that might be a good perspective and we'll see what he has for us.
Welcome to the podcast, Conor.
Thank you.
I see anyway, first good sign is that there's no crutches.
No, they're long gone now, thank God.
So you're on the mend?
On the mend, yeah. Tomorrow is actually 7 months.
7 months?
7 months already. So they give you the time limit of 9 to 12. But back on the pitch, back in doing gym work and touch wood now, everything's going well. So hopefully we kind of be back at the early stages rather than the later stages. And
initially, like for the fans listening, like what exactly happened to you initially? Like?
So it was just in training. I was just pressing the ball.
Yeah.
There was another pass made, and one of the lads just put the ball through my legs.
Yeah.
And what I went to do was just to stop, to turn, to try to get on the other side of it. And the knee just popped, and I just went down straight away.
Was it like a cruciate or something?
Yeah,
or?
It was the ACL.
Yeah.
It was a clean ACL tear. There was kind of nothing else, which is, I suppose, if you're going to tear your ACL, you'd rather just do that. So I was kind of lucky in a sense.
Yeah.
But it was literally just a turn, just to get on the other end of the ball, and the knee just popped on me. 7
months is actually quick enough for an ACL, though, isn't it? I think sometimes it can go longer.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of depends on like what else you do with it. Like, because you could do like your MCL, you can do kind of ligament damage, all that stuff. But like you're usually back on the pitch, kind of. If I remember correctly, it was maybe 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
You're back just doing like very, very light stuff, kind of on the pitch. But like at the stage I'm at now, I'm kind of doing change in direction and stuff, kind of getting back into match movements, rather than kind of just your straight line stuff. So, in terms of the timeline, as I said, I'm on course anyway.
And like, did you talk to anyone that had been through the injury before over the last couple of months?
Yeah, Darragh Crowley.
Yeah.
Darragh Crowley, he only came back kind of, was it the start of last year?
Yeah, that's right.
He'd done his ACL, so it was kind of handy just to have someone kind of right next year that's been through it and stuff like that. Colin Henderson, he was in at the time, the young fella. Spoke to him as well, and I think they're just so common nowadays.
It's amazing the amount of footballers that get it. Like,
yeah, and as I said, it was just from something you do, God knows how many times in a game. Like, you just turn in just to get on the end of a ball or whatever, and the luck just wasn't on my side that day, really.
Are you worried now when you get back onto the pitch? Like, have you a bit of fear in you that you might do it again?
No, not fear. I think I'm just kind of nervous until you get the movements and stuff down. Like, I've worked very, very hard now the last kind of 7 months, so I know that it's strong. I'm just getting used to kind of the movements and stuff again. So in terms of the fear of it being kind of weak and being easy to happen again, probably not. But I think it's just a case of once you kind of get the repetitions in certain movements, and like I'll be bled back into training in small increments. So
non-contact, I presume, at the moment, is it?
Yeah, no contact. So as I said, at the moment, just literally just doing a few kind of exercises, just kind of away from the team.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting myself back ready. But I think once I'm back, I think I'll be all right, because as I said, I'll have kind of a few weeks of proper training into me. Kind of the timeline will be all right, so I think I'll be all right.
What's the isolation like then? Like, as a player, like when you get injured like that, and you know that you're going to be out for months. Like, do you get a bit down?
Yeah, no, it is very tough. I think this is my first like proper injury. I think everyone in their career has kind of had a few kind of 4 6 weeks or whatever. Right, but this one, it was kind of very hard to accept, because like initially I was like, you're hoping you didn't do it, but you kind of know you're doing it. So you're kind of away, as you said, you're away from the group. You have to accept that, right? Won't be able to kind of play football. I won't be back on the pitch for maybe 9 to 12 months. And you're kind of, but even that, the one I didn't think of was actually just your everyday life. Like, it was, I was struggling to put on my socks, put on my pants, my shorts.
The simple stuff.
It was the simple stuff that I actually did not think of at all. That was kind of really affecting, kind of, because I was on 2 crutches as well. So kind of getting up and down the stairs, couldn't even make myself a cup of tea. So
feel like a child again, probably, in many ways.
Yeah, so like before my mum went to work, like my mum would just bring me up a bit of food, just because like I couldn't like stand on two crutches, make something. I couldn't put pressure on the leg at the time.
Yeah.
So it was very tough because, as you said, then you're kind of isolated. You're like away from the team, kind of doing your own stuff, your own rehab, kind of doing your own runs. Even though you're in together, like all them be out training and stuff like that. Whereas I kind of be I'll be out there, but I'll be on a different schedule, if that makes sense. Like when they're out on the pitch, I'm probably in the gym. Match days, they're obviously out on the pitch getting warmed up or whatever. I'm kind of just in the stands. Like, so the isolation has been kind of hard. But as I said, I'm kind of back in kind of on the mend of things, kind of in with the group again. So the last few months, so yeah, it's definitely gotten better anyway.
And it's the biggest injury of your career. So did you ever have anything as a teenager, schoolboy football or anything like that?
No, nothing like this. No, absolutely not. As I said, you probably get your few weeks here and there, but in terms of something like this, it's the very first time now. And as you said, it's just been frustrating. The crutch probably got bit off the floor a few times, like just out of frustration, because for a long while I couldn't do anything for myself. Like you kind of need kind of a good kind of background of family and friends, and my missus as well, thank God, because all of them were kind of dig me out at some stage with something, like, so. And even
distract you from it and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like at the start, like I was even when I was at the training and stuff, when the lads are training, like you always get more kind of like depressed almost watching the training, because I won't be out there for months and months, like, so sometimes I actually just didn't watch training just to kind of make it even easier on myself, like, because it was just like, gee, I'd do anything to be kind of back out there, even just kicking the ball, doing a shooting drill or something.
And what about going to games? Did you feel okay at them, or same type of?
Yeah, because obviously we go to the home games, so like it was a bit different, to be fair, because you can have more of an atmosphere around there. There's kind of a bit more of a buzz, so you kind of latch onto that kind of that.
And you're
feeling.
Talking to a few people and stuff like that.
That's
as well.
it, yeah. So like you said there, you get a bit of distractions at the game, and as I said, you kind of latch onto the buzz of the game, and like if the goal goes in and stuff like that. So like the games haven't been too bad. No, as I said, it was actually watching training that was
the hard bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the other stuff is gone when it's training. It's just a core group of players and the coaches and the staff. Whereas at a match, you have everyone and anyone around.
That's it, yeah. Because as I said, like when you mentioned isolation earlier, like you're actually closer to like the S&Cs, the physios and stuff, because you spend most of your time with them. Because as I said, like I'd go in, I'd have to get treatment, and then you do your kind of your prep work, and then you'd be in the gym, and like all the lads would be having breakfast or they'd be out training and stuff. Like, so it's been difficult enough.
Go back a bit. Like you started your schoolboy career with Carrigaline, is it? Where did you kick it all off?
Yeah, it was Carrigaline, just from a young age. All the way up, I went to Cove 17s for a year.
Was that the first time kind of like were you on Kennedy Cup squads or anything?
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. So I made the Kennedy Cup. I think that's under 14.
Yeah.
Under 14 and under 17 when I was obviously at my age. That was the first League of Ireland bracket you could go into. Obviously now you have 15s and
14s and everything,
etc. So the 17s was the first period that you can actually go into League of Ireland. So I went down to Cove, done that for a year, and actually came back and I played Carrigaline 18s and the Carrigaline senior team, and then played there for the next season. Then we kind of got promoted from Division 1 into the Premier Division.
Yeah.
Half a year in the Premier Division, and then I think went down to Cove then in like the January then, whenever that was, a long time ago.
And was there anybody in the Cove team in the under 17s that you ended up playing with in later years again?
You're testing my memory here now. I think Cameron Harrelson was one.
Oh yeah.
I think Cameron Harrelson. I played with Cameron Harrelson. I think he might have been the only one.
Because it's always interesting to see what happens to guys. Like, do they drift out of the game? Do they go into Munster Senior League? Yeah, well, like where do they go? Like, you know.
Yeah,
like
I think Cameron Harrelson was the only one, and we played in Cove then for another like 2 or 3 years. Like I think he's at Ringman now. But like that, from obviously I left, he's continued on.
Yeah.
Ended up in the same journey and kind of spent another 2-3 years playing together. So
like obviously you get in at the under 17s, you go back to Carrigaline. You probably didn't think, okay, football is not going to be a career for me. That probably wasn't part of the plan, was it? Or what?
I think you always hope for it.
Yes.
You know,
in the back of your mind.
In the back of your mind, yeah. Because obviously I kind of just went back, just enjoying. I was literally just enjoying football. You know, I had a great time going back to Carrigaline, and I kind of knew. I think I knew Stuart Ashton at the time, so I think eventually I kind of knew I'd get back into League of Ireland, and I probably thought it would be Cove. I like that, I was just enjoying my time in Cove. I done the FOSS course with Stewie, actually. That was another way, and then I was in college, so like that you're kind of just dealing with what's in front of you, really, kind of college work, and then you're into training, and then the part-time job as well, so I was kept busy.
And did you have a scholarship? You were MTU, weren't you?
I was at MTU, yeah. So I got a scholarship there.
For football? For
football, yeah. Yeah, so obviously played at the college, got onto the Irish Universities team as well at one stage, and then just kind of played from there then.
So like you would have probably been close then with Eric Mara and stuff like that. And yeah. So like because obviously MTU wouldn't be as associated with football as maybe UCC, because they'd have a Munster Senior League team and stuff like that. But they're just focused on the college games.
Yeah, exactly. So as I said, I knew Eric Maher well. He kind of ran like the gym where scholarship people can go in. Like, so I was always in there, so I was always chatting to him. And like that year, to be fair, I think the years I was there, we actually had a good soccer team.
Yeah.
And we gave kind of the competitions a good rattle. We got to the final one year, we lost 2-1. But like that, we actually had a good team where we're like, right, we could actually do something. Because as you said, years previous, I didn't think there was much kind of about them. But actually very enjoyed my time playing college football. And as I said, then I got to put on an Irish jersey then as well for it. So that was always nice as well.
And where did you play?
We played up in Dublin. We played the Defence Forces, played the amateurs. I think we back and battered the two of them at that time. Yeah. So, but even just to play in those games, to put on an Irish jersey, like I haven't put on an Irish jersey before that or since. So definitely take it.
And I always say that to people, like, to represent your country at any level is unbelievable, no matter what it is.
Yeah, like even though I know it's just a friendly, like, but just still put on an Irish jersey.
Yeah,
it's good, like.
Yeah, and did you study sports and rec? Was it, or what did you study?
Basically, sport and business management. Basically,
okay.
That's basically what it is. So like that, there now you kind of get your business side of it, and you kind of get your sports side of it. So like personal training was one. I've done that. Athletic performance and testing, and then you kind of have your intro into accounting and kind of economics and all that stuff as well. So there was a good kind of blend in there.
So it's kind of like nearly giving you a bit of a business acumen to go back into football. Like it's in the back of your mind, you know, kind of the setup of it.
I think I always wanted to go kind of. I'd like to go into football in some way or form, or even just exercise in general.
Yeah.
So kind of doing that course kind of gave you, as you said, it kind of gave you the best of both worlds. Kind of being able to the business side of it and the actual sports side of it. And then I said at that, then I was just still playing with Cove, trained at night time, go from college straight down to Cove, train with Cove, and then.
And they used to train at night, was it?
Train at night then, yeah. Games on a Friday, and then I actually worked on foot golf at the time, so that was a Saturday, Sunday.
So I can say, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just on the go, just Monday to Sunday, but I actually loved it.
Yeah, and like Cove, were they all like they're part timers, or were they just like?
Yeah, like that. You had a few people in college, like you teachers, you had probably plumbers, you had electricians, you just kind of people working in factories, like, so it was just kind of everyday life people. You come together then at night then to play League of Ireland, like, and one of the years we actually had a very good team under Shane Keegan.
You pushed all the way, didn't you? The semi-final, wasn't it?
Semi-final, yeah. I spent half season, then I joined here.
That's
but
right,
it was a good team.
But even the year before, they were a solid team as well. Like,
yeah, with a solid team. Obviously, I was under Stuart Ashton there. Darren Murphy, who's now the 20s team.
Yeah.
I was under him there. And then it was Shane Keegan then towards the end. And as I said, then I kind of moved on then.
And Shane was kind of like, obviously he was balancing the GA as well and doing a bit of, like, so, like, as a coach, like, what was his style like in terms of, like, was it different?
Do you know what? When it came to soccer, it was very much soccer. He knew, in fairness, he knew exactly what he was doing, and I thought he was actually a very good coach. There was a few times we gave him stick, or he'd turn up in the guy tracksuit there to training, and he'd have to go change. But I actually thought he was very good in fairness, and as you said, then he was probably juggling the two, which probably led him kind of the step way at the end of the season. Then, like, which Cover probably gutted about, because as I said, he was a good manager.
Yeah, because it can be hard, and then he was doing a bit of media duties and all that.
He was travelling and all that then as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a tricky one, but a lot of those kind of that team you played with in Cove ended up kind of with you at City then as well. So, like, how did the City, like, how did that come about anyway? Like, was it?
Yeah, it just came out in the summer. Literally just got a call.
Mid-season break job.
Mid-season break, yeah. And then kind of just escalated then from there, and I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks later then I was in, and then as you said, then kind of I already played with Derek, already came on loan to Cove at one stage, so I kind of knew him.
You knew him.
And then the following season then Jack joined us, and Chaz joined us, so it was kind of all back together in
a couple of pals into the team. Did you find a huge difference then between the first division and the Premier Division? Because obviously you were kind of nearly thrown straight into it, like.
Yeah, big jump, to be fair. As I said, then I was kind of playing left back as well, which I kind of had to be learned to kind of play left back, because I was always a winger or even a wing back, but kind of playing as a natural full back was something that I had to learn on the job, basically.
Yeah.
And the Premier Division is a different standard. It is. There's no point me sitting here saying it's not. And then going into full-time football as well, so that was getting used to, and it was all kind of, it was a good learning experience. Definitely something I wanted to do. But obviously the end result that year wasn't great.
Yeah, because I think people often forget that there is a big difference between that first division and the Premier Division. But, like, having played in the Munster Senior League with Carrigaline, was there a huge difference between that and the first division league?
Yeah.
Is there a big jump in each level? Like?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like I think
Because I'd imagine those fellas probably listening to this that play maybe Munster Senior League that would say, I'd fancy my chances, and they're sitting at matches, and you'd hear the talk. But is it different when you get on the pitch?
Yeah, no, I think it is. Like, don't get me wrong. I think there is some players that could play. Do you know, if they joined a first division team, they could do well.
Yeah.
But I think when you play like a Munster Senior League team versus a League of Ireland team, like, I think there is a difference, and that's no disrespect. Yeah. No, it's Munster Senior League. As I said, I played there. There's some great teams, great players. But I think like Rockman at the time there, they went on two intermediate cups.
Yeah,
I think
so. Yeah.
And like they were a great team, and we played them at Cove, and I think we beat them twice maybe in the year.
Yeah.
And it was like both convincing victories, like, and you can kind of show there is that bit of a difference, like. But as I said, then there's some players like I always mention one anytime I have this conversation is Antti McAvalvi with Ringman. He's class, and I just think he could play. He could probably still play first division if he wanted, like, but.
And some guys make the choice they don't want to, like, or something, they kind of stay away from it, don't they?
Yeah, some people, as you said, are just happy just to kind of they have a
commitment. I suppose.
Yeah, they have a settled job. There's no travelling. You know, there's no, as you said, there's no big commitment to it. So some just happy up just playing ball and kind of working away.
So what was it like for you then to adapt to go from part-time football into full-time football? It was like, what is it, like a dream come true? Or like what?
Yeah, as you said, you always want it to happen, and you know, especially when you're from Cork, you'd always like to play for Cork City, like, and then as you said,
did you support them?
I went to games when I was younger, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, then it's kind of getting the body used to full-time football. As you said, your body's on a different schedule altogether to what I was before, because I'd wake up at 7 in the morning from college, let's say on a Monday, and I might get back till 9 or 10 at night then from training. So it was like the body was
wrecked. Yeah.
It was wrecked at that stage, but as I said, then the body's clock basically changed, because you're in the mornings, you train, do your gym, and then you're kind of home. So just getting the body used to that, and then, as I said, then the jump in kind of standard in opposition, then when you go to the Premier Division, then there's a big jump.
And you finished college at this point, but then you started
I finished year 3, so I have my level 7, so that was me finished. So then I was kind of this year then, and kind of last year then it was just kind of full-time football then.
Yeah, so like it is it was probably good timing in many ways that you had your qualification and then you got to go into full-time football.
Yeah, it worked out well now.
You couldn't make it up kind of like nearly in many ways, like, yeah.
Yeah, but as I said though, it was a big jump. You know, as I said, then I was learning kind of to play as a natural, proper left back. So that was kind of a learning experience as well. So I was kind of, as you said, then it was kind of on the job then, like.
And like, so you went in and you played most of that end of that first Premier Division season, but like the disappointment of losing to Waterford in the playoff, that must have been tough. Like, was that probably the first big setback in a footballing career wise? Like,
yeah, I think like the city felt it really.
Yeah.
You know, like on us as players, like I think it was definitely the hardest thing. I think probably any of them had to take. I didn't know their previous experiences with kind of stuff like that, but I think that was kind of basically a dark experience. That was.
Plus, it's like a cup final as well. It's not like a normal relegation whereby, you know, it's nearly drawn out and you kind of expect it to come, but when it's a playoff like that. Yeah, there's something final about it, like, isn't there?
No, there definitely was. It definitely felt like as you said, kind of a final, and then obviously to be on the bad end of it, then it just kind of hits you different, like.
Going into the following season, then obviously, you know, there was a new regime came into place. Richie had gone and Liam and stuff like that. Then Tim took over, and a lot of new players. So then it was like nearly a new team, kind of. Obviously, some of the lads from Cove came up, but it felt like a fresh squad, didn't it?
Yeah, as you said, I think we took a core of the previous season, kind of kept, if I remember, it was probably 5, 6 maybe.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, then there was a lot of new players in.
And some of the young players came up.
Some of the young players came up then as well. And then, as you said, then Tim came in as well. So it kind of changed up. Like, even our schedule tried to be changed, kind of days off, kind of switched to, let's say, a Tuesday. So kind of everything kind of changed. It kind of gave us kind of a fresh start, basically. And that's what I kind of felt like, in a way. Like, as much as we didn't want, let's say, a fresh start to be in the first division, just probably the best thing that could have happened for us, really.
A nice young squad, and I suppose, like, did you find then that you all kind of got on with each other as a result of the kind of that?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, the last 2 years kind of kept a lot of the squad as well for this year. Like, and there's a great group there. There's no egos. There's no someone thinking they're the man or better than anyone else. Yeah. So, like, that's almost as important as being a good player as having like a good dressing room, being a good person. Like, and I think kind of, it's basically, it shows when you're in and around the training, or in and around the squad, like, and it plays a huge part, like.
You kind of missed some of the early last season. I think you had a small injury.
Yeah, I had a small injury. I think I missed maybe the first game, and then, as I said, I was getting up to speed then from the second game on then, and then, as I said, kind of was available for the whole season, and then came the big injury then towards, I think it was the last two or three games maybe.
But you in between that, then you nearly turn into a forward. Like there was one game against Longford, you got 2 goals out of nowhere. I was thinking, are you going to change position or what?
Yeah, it was because, as I said, no, I think even Tim probably when he watched the season previous of who was in there, I was playing left back.
Yeah.
And I got an opportunity against UCD, which was my first start under Tim. And I played left back and I done well. And then I think Evan McLaughlin was suspended for that game, so he came back in. And I just remember looking at the board and I was like, I thought I played well. And I actually seen my name up in left wing, which obviously I played with a Cove.
Yes.
So I was like,
you're pushing up.
Yeah, pushing up. So I was like, Grant, happy days, I'll take it. I know how to play there. And it was that Longford game, it was the first game I started kind of in the forward line. And that ended well, that game.
Yeah, but I suppose I know that there was a big thing around the time where the club were lacking goals, and then all of a sudden you have what we all thought was a defender is starting to bang the goals, and maybe he's in the wrong position when we push him up. But it wasn't long after that then the likes of Shawnee came in and Keats and all them so.
Yeah, as I said, I was playing left wing. We were kind of in a tree, and then I think when Shawnee and Keats come in, you have to play them. They scream goals. So then we kind of changed to a 4-4-2, and then chances became that much more limited. Well, I said I still kind of contributed in some way, kind of when it came on, or if I got a chance. But as I said, then when Shawnee and Keats kind of come in, you have to play them because it's just goals.
Is that the hard thing as a younger player in the squad? Is that you kind of want the team to do well? You want the team to bring in good players, but at the same time, you know that you could be one that's sacrificed if there's somebody good comes in.
Yeah, it's
the experience player gets in.
It's a sticky position, because as I said, when the two of them come in, they had to play. They're basically city legends as it is, and they're still basically in unbelievable top condition because the two of them are great pros. And then obviously then there's only kind of one space then because Cahill was on the other side, and sure, good luck getting him out.
Yeah.
So then it was just kind of one position available, and as I said, then kind of became that much more limited. But I said many times. I got then I was just ready to take or ready to do a job for the team.
On the flip side of that then, are you learning from those guys as well then in the training?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are they bringing a different dynamic in? Yeah,
absolutely. As you said, they're just experienced players. They've been around League of Ireland. Obviously Shawnee's been abroad. Keith was abroad there when he was younger as well. Yeah. So you kind of take little bits from them. Even off the pitch as well, obviously spending this year basically injured. Shawnee was injured for a bit as well, and I was just taking some bits from him as well, even off the pitch, even nutrition wise or gym wise and stuff like that. So just having people like that to kind of learn off as well has been nice.
I suppose that is the one thing this season. I suppose going into the season, there's been so many. You must have a little club off the side of the pitch or something. You must be going for coffee together or something.
Yeah, at one stage it was basically a social club. I'm sure we had, I think it was 6 or 7 injuries at one stage. And these were and I said there were players that would play when they were playing, they were starting. So it was just.
Are you on the gym to get it in, or what?
Yeah, basically everyone has a rehab program or a gym program. They must do kind of the strength up, let's say, whatever injury it is. There I'm sure at one stage there was easily 6 of us in there. And as I said, there were players that when they were playing, they were starting. So it was a big hit to the team. But it became a social club at one stage. But the injuries just been so unlucky. It was some of the lads are just been.
It's just one of those things.
It's just one of them things. Yeah.
But at least, I know you were injured at the end of the season, but you still got to join in the celebrations for winning the first division and stuff like that. With the crutches on the pitch, I remember seeing you on the video.
I had the surgery the Tuesday, and obviously we lifted the trophy the Friday, so I wasn't not coming.
Yeah.
But obviously I was still on the painkillers and the anti-inflammatories.
Probably suffered for it afterwards, did you?
So it was probably a bit sore the next day, alright. So I was, as I said, I was still on my meds basically.
Yeah.
And I was probably a bit still spaced out of it because you need the heavy duty stuff for the
with
surgery.
That. Yeah.
So kind of was able to celebrate that, and wherever we were in town, I actually don't remember. I didn't even drink. I just stayed there for an hour and I had to come home. I was just in so much discomfort and pain. I was just I wasn't missing it though, not a hope.
Yeah, because it's a big moment for you. You played most of the season and you got your medal, and you have to celebrate those wins.
Absolutely,
I know you have the disappointment of not being there at the end, but it's still you have to acknowledge what you've done before.
Yeah, it was my first league title as well. As I said, as much as it was the bad ending for myself personally, there was no way I was missing it.
Yeah, and you could see that I'd say it was you weren't the only one. It was the first. There was a lot of the lads. They were really Charlie was in here a few weeks ago, and you could see that it was big for them as well. It's a huge moment.
Yeah, because I remember someone saying to me you could play League of Ireland for 10, 11 years, and you mightn't even win one. I know. Obviously, Cork City, the expectation is the Premier Division, and rightfully so. Yeah. Rightfully so. But obviously to end on such a kind of a downward spiral in one season, to bounce straight back up, and as you said, then it was first title for a lot of us. So we did soak it in, you know, and we did enjoy it, like, because
you have to enjoy
it was a big moment, like.
And I know we are a big club, but like you only have to look across the water and they do open top buses for the likes of Leeds, you know, like, so it's not, you know, it's a similar type of environment in many ways, like, you know, you have to celebrate each win as it comes,
because it's a long year as well, like it's like, as you said, it's tough on the body all year round playing. And then, as you said, you get your reward at the end of it, so then you enjoy it then.
And in many ways, it's nearly respecting the opposition that you're playing, that you're celebrating it that much. You're kind of saying, you know, like, it wasn't a given, like.
Yeah, because like it's like the first division, like as much as I said, no, to jump up, like it's still a sticky division as well. The first division to get in, like there is still good teams in there. And as you said, you can't really just walk into a game thinking 3 points, because like if you watch it, like some games we had to work for it, like, and which, you know, obviously we didn't take anyone for granted, which kind of showed, because we did win it comfortably enough in the end, like, and that's not kind of saying we were on a high horse. That was just us just putting in the work and doing our bit on the pitch.
So obviously, you know, you're in the stands watching at the moment, and you know, you've seen them. It's been a hard slog so far in the season.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, like the whole year I've kind of been on the outside in a way, because I said kind of watching training and stuff like that. And obviously since the start of the season, been up in the stands, and it's been difficult. It's been difficult to watch. Like, do I think we're a million miles off it? I don't. As I said, the injuries have played a big part as well, because you're missing a lot of key players. But like, if you compare it to the last time we're in the Premier Division, like, fans are going away frustrated this time around because we're actually competitive in games. I think if you were to watch probably the 2023 season, there was a lot of games we probably weren't competitive at all, you know, and there's kind of maybe mistakes that have kind of cost us this year.
And we've been leading in a lot of games this year and kind of throwing it away, kind of. So we were, you know.
That's what I mean. Like, we've been competitive. You know, I think it'd be a lot more frustrating if you were coming away and we were nowhere near anybody. And I think the only game I can think of was probably Shamrock Rovers when they beat us 4-0.
Yeah.
I think other than that, we've been competitive in a lot of other games, and you know, if things went our way, we could have a good amount of points on the table. It's obviously, I think it's just a matter of kind of cutting out them mistakes and then keeping what we're good at then as well, which is going forward, scoring goals, because I think we've scored in more or less every game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just shutting out the other side then as well. But like, I don't think we're a million miles off it. As I said, when players start to come back now, I think Shawnee's kind of coming back.
Yeah.
I think Greg's coming back. So kind of them two, as you said, experienced players kind of coming back. Hopefully we'll kind of steady the ship a small bit.
And hopefully the likes of Malik and stuff came back. Like, obviously Cahill was injured for a bit there as well.
That's it. Cahill was injured. Malik got absolutely snapped against Sligo.
Yeah.
So like that's what I mean. Like that's the injury you cannot control at all.
You can't control
like
those type
Cahill's injury, someone just fell down on top of him.
Yeah.
You can't control that, you know.
Yeah.
So as I said, like Malik coming back, Shawnee coming back, Greg coming back. Hopefully when them players come back, that kind of.
And they're all senior players as well, like.
Exactly. And they'll push us on kind of in the league and kind of hopefully, as I said, bring a bit of experience and a bit of kind of composure to games and stuff like that, where we can kind of, as you said, see it out, or kind of. But even if we get a goal, just keep going again. Do you know? As I said, what we've actually been very good this year is attacking. That's not me saying absolutely go gung ho and forget the defence, but like don't forget about what we're good at as well. And hopefully we're going to push on now.
And what about the new lads coming in then? Like I know you're not in training, but do you still get to mix with them? Like, you know, the lads have to come in from the UK, like in particular.
Yeah, because as I said, like I'd be most of the time is in the gym at the moment. Like, so they come in and do the prehab, or where they're doing gym work as well. I'll be doing a different bit, but like you still mix around with them. And like that, they've been all good lads. As I said earlier, like it's very important to have a good dressing room, as it is having good players. And kind of this year, as I said, we've got good players and a good dressing room. Like, so you get to chat to them now, you know, where they played previous, how they're finding Cork, like what do they think of Turner's Cross and all that stuff. So it's been good to get know the new lads like TT, for example. Like TT's always in the gym. I'd always be chatting to TT, like Alex Nolan, Conor Brand. I could name everybody. Like, but they've all been good lads this year.
And do you meet up outside then, like, because like the fans are probably often wondering, like, do you kind of, or is it you walk away from training, that's the end of it then, like, or how does that work?
No, I reckon there's a few lads do. Obviously, a few lads live together as well.
Yes.
But I've been just so isolated the last while. I've been just taking care of myself really. Just recovery. Like, I haven't, like, a few boys might go for golf or again pitch and putt or something. If I told the physio I was swinging the club, he'd probably tear the head off me.
It's the last thing you need at the moment.
Yeah, so like I'd say they do kind of pitch and putt now, golf and stuff, especially with the weather hopefully coming in now, that probably be out on the golf course and stuff like that. So like, but as I said, it's good dressing room that you'd actually want to see fellas outside rather than not once you're done, that's it then till the following day. Like,
so when are you hoping to get back on?
As I said, I'm coming up to 7 months now, so I'm hopefully kind of the 9 month mark it would be the earliest, so I'm hoping as close to that as possible, because as I said, everything's going well so far. So if we keep on that track now, hopefully 9 months.
Potentially Parky Queeve. Could you make an appearance?
I think that would be about 8.5 months or something.
Too early,
yeah, as much as I'd love to do it now. That's one thing now I'm gutted about now. It's going to play first of all playing against Celtic and then playing in a stadium where what is it, 40 or 50,000 or whatever it is. Like that's
have the lads been talking about that behind the scene? Like
initially when it happened, I think there was a good buzz around to talk about it, or whatever, and then it's kind of just put to the kind of the back of the mind until it gets closer to the time. Just been focusing on like the league football now for a while.
It's a nice little distraction in the mid-season. I suppose people don't. I suppose playing for City, you don't expect to play in Parky Queeve, so it's kind of that.
Absolutely not. No,
then to get to play against Celtic as well.
Yeah, so as you said, like you don't get to play against teams like that very often. Like even we played Stoke last year. Like Stoke's the team thought I'd never play against Stoke in my life. Like and it was Celtic. Kind of everyone knows Celtic. And there's probably a lot of Celtic fans in Cork as well. Like so, I think the buzz around kind of Parky Queeve, Celtic, Cork City will be huge. And so far now of the you're a few years into your career now as a footballer, like who are the players that are standing out to you? Like who are the ones that you found the toughest, like as in against or who I've played with? No,
against.
Yeah, obviously you go. I'll go straight to the kind of Premier Division. Yeah, kind of depending on which position I was playing. At the left back, so I was playing left back. So I think Jake Mulroney was a great winger. At the time you play Shamrock Rovers, they had a number of kind of wing backs there that you could have come up against now, so they were good wing backs as well. I'll probably say Jake Mulroney, and then there's a few Rovers boys that were in there now that I had to try and deal with.
Yeah, like I could put you to the test and ask you who was the best player you played with, but maybe from youth level even or something. Who was the one?
Jesus, youth level now.
Who's the one that stands out even over the years and you say, whoa, or they maybe went on to other things or.
That's a good question. I suppose at the moment you could probably say Josh Honehan from like literally 2 years ago. He's been on just an unbelievable run. Like Shamrock Rovers there last year, got in Team of the Year, and he's done extremely well. Yeah. And I played with my brother Aaron, who's obviously in England with the school team. Yeah. So if that counts, I suppose you could throw him in there as well. He'd be delighted to flash out now, but he's probably another one. As he said, he kind of kicked on there since he ever left Ireland. He just made a good career for himself in England.
And so that's interesting. He's over in England. Like you'll see a lot of families whereby there's 2 or 3 members of the same family. I know Queeveen, there's 2 or 3 of them all play professional football as well. There's that kind of, there's
that kind of dynamic basically. Yeah.
Is it one pushing the other on? Like,
to be fair, he's had a very good kind of work ethic from a young age, and he played with the City Academy, and I think they won the Champions League, or they got into the Champions League or something, playing Rome and all that.
Oh, that was when Chidozi and stuff and them were there.
Yeah, so they had a great team, so like a good few of them just got picked up. Like Conor Mac, Chidozi, Aaron, like they kind of went over, and they've all done extremely well. So he comes home in the summer. I don't really see him much because, as I said, our season runs different to theirs.
That's right.
So he comes home for a few weeks in the summer, and kind of, as you said, he'd still be working and stuff like that. Like, so you've got constantly just chatting about it. And then in the off season, then I might go over to 1 or 2 games then, and that'd be kind of it then, really.
Yeah, but it is interesting. It seems to, I suppose, and like, did anybody of like your parents' generation or uncles or grandparents, did any of them play football?
No, my dad was a hurler.
Yeah,
he was a hurler for Blackrock, and he obviously played soccer when he was younger, but it wasn't his main sport at all. He just absolutely loved hurling, played hurling basically till he retired. Yeah. And he basically just said he got roped into soccer coaching when he was when Aaron was very young, because obviously Aaron's older. So when he was starting out, he said it was just soccer coaching, and then he became a soccer head then after that.
That's mad. So then you were probably pushed into that.
Yeah. So
you could easily be playing for Cork, like, in the GA.
Yeah. So as I said, my dad got roped into the coach, and Aaron was there. And sure, if you're the younger brother, you kind of just tag along with anything really. Yeah. So then you're just put into it, and then as you said, then 2 of us are kind of just in the soccer then.
Yes, you're probably learning from him then as you grow up as well, like a bit, like so. Yeah, it's I suppose what are the goals for you to, I suppose, first to get back on the pitch and then to cement your team place in the first team?
Yeah. As you said, the first thing, just get back healthy. The knees are. As I said, I'm doing the work, and I am working very, very hard just to get back, because I want to get back as soon as possible. And as you said, then trying to cement the place in the team now, and basically just trying to play a part towards the end of the season. Because I think there'll probably be the latter stages which I'd probably be properly available for and up to speed now, because once I'm back it'll probably take me a few weeks to get back to touch and get up to match sharpness, which I'll probably play with the 20s for a few games just to kind of build that back up as well. So hopefully towards kind of the latter stages I get into the team.
Yeah, you're hoping at that point that there's still real, I suppose, proper games left in the season. Like that is not after running out by the time you come back in. You don't want to come back in November or October.
Yeah. No, I won't be that late. I wouldn't let myself go that late at all. No. But as you said, hopefully, kind of competitive games that you want to play, and not, as you said, not kind of throwaway games that you're just playing for the sake of them. But hopefully, as you said, hopefully then kind of come in, try to get myself into the team then for latter stages.
I heard that you made an appearance on the TV as well recently. We playing a bit of FIFA.
Yeah, I played Willie, who was the FIFA player for Cork City. So we done an interview kind of going back last year. We're just playing a game of FIFA, interviewing each other. So I made the TV debut, alright.
On RT, that the FAI's new programme on a Saturday morning. It's probably on the player, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was on the RT player, and as you said, I think it's every Saturday morning at 10. So I think they're just going around different clubs, different segments and stuff like that. So I got my appearance there a couple of weeks back.
How'd you get on in the actual game?
I lost 2-0, but you know what, I was fairly happy with that. Like that's his pro. Like he's professional in that, and so only 2-0 was alright. Yeah. So if he came to the pitch, then I'd probably batter him. Like so, it'd be alright.
and like, do you play it at home a bit?
Ever since that day, yeah. I didn't play it for probably a year or so before I played him, and then you play him, I kind of just got an itch, and I've just been playing it since. Alright, yeah. I was actually playing it before I came out here today.
Well, that's the good. I suppose in September, I suppose the next edition of the game, you'll be back in it.
Hopefully, yeah.
So it's probably. Have you ever been in it before?
When I first signed.
Was your name? Did you get in on time for that? To be honest,
I scraped in.
Yeah, because obviously they're making it, and that's in the summer months or whatever. Yeah.
So
did you get a card?
Well, like Howie didn't give me one at all, no. But I managed to get one, obviously on the FIFA its actual self. So. Hopefully this year, so I'm signed up obviously again this year, so I should be on it again. Yeah,
because it's always one of the things with a lot of the footballers. You see them they show the card, and it's a bit, like, I suppose it is kind of a cool thing you can play yourself in the game.
It's class, because I think once you're soccer mad, you'll always play FIFA when you're younger, and you'd be class to be in the game. Like, even though I'm a shite bronze card who nobody will use. It's unbelievable, because it'll be the first thing I'll buy in the game is you buy yourself, like. It's just a cool moment, really.
And then you do, I don't know, is it a career mode or something, or you can go up through the leagues and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do
probably end up playing the Champions League by the time you're finished.
Absolutely, yeah. As I said, it's just one of the things where you don't think you'll ever happen, as you said, and once you're in the game, then you're just even though you're shite, you're absolutely buzzing, like.
Yeah, but I suppose it's one of those perks with the League of Ireland that, like, it is, we're in that game with all the other clubs across Europe, so it's nice for City to be back in this coming September.
Yeah,
again.
Absolutely. Like, and as like you can get a few texts in your DMs and Instagram saying, I packed you, like, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry, like, because like, I won't get used, like, but it's just funny just to see people, like, but
people let you know, or just
just random people just texting you, just saying, I got you in FIFA, like. But it's even mad just to get them texts, because they said you never think you're in FIFA, like.
Yeah. And do you get much like in terms of social and stuff? Do you get much interaction from fans? Do they ever message you or anything like that?
No, not really online. I see a few out and about. They kind of just, I think they just kind of recognise you, like.
They salute you.
Kind of stop and chat to them, because I said, like, the City here now, like, if I need to go to the Mardyke for gym, there might be a few in there, or need to stop in the garage on the way home or whatever. You just might see people around the place, and as you said, some people just recognise your face then, even when you're out, like, so you just have quick conversations and stuff like that. So yeah, good interactions anyway, thank God.
I'd imagine it's a nice thing, like to have fans kind of actually asking you how you're getting on with the injury or whatever, like.
Yeah, I was out for lunch with my buddy a few weeks ago, and like that, I was just in Roosters, and someone asked me for a picture, like, and he's there, and he was just like what's going on here, like. It was just weird, like, it was weird for him to see, like, like someone's coming up asking you for a picture, like. But as I said, all I've had is good interactions now, like, so it's like I've no problem with it, really.
And hopefully there's plenty more, and maybe more braces like you've had the last time in terms of against Longford, or maybe there's some towards the end of the season you could be.
Hopefully, as I said, no, that was a nice moment. Getting your first goal as well. That was my first goal. So that was kind of a nice moment to kind of kick off.
And then to get two in the same game.
Yeah. And then how we milked it then with a few jokes on Twitter. But like, as I said, no, it was a good experience. Kind of, as you said, it was scoring into the shed as well. Yeah, so brilliant. It was nice, like.
Yeah, and like, you couldn't ask for more. But look, best of luck with the recovery, and hopefully we see you back on the pitch in the coming months.
Appreciate it, yeah. Hopefully back now.
And you and along with a couple of the other lads, and we're looking forward to the end of the season. But thanks a million for coming in, Conor.
No bothers.
Yeah, as you said beforehand there, it was interesting to get a perspective of a player who's kind of away from the team, and that mentality, and having to kind of work by themselves. It's not easy.
It's the perspective as well of, be it at Turner's Cross on a Friday night, or be it at Bishopstown, he's on the sidelines, he's in the stand watching, almost like, watching your friends outside, and you can't join in. Good to hear that the recovery's going well though, and that he's he's back free. He's the independence back after being on crutches, and like he was saying, they're struggling to put clothes on and stuff like that. So he's kind of back on his feet, back running, as I was saying. I've seen him doing a bit of training on his own. So brilliant to see. We'd love to see him back as soon as. And
yeah, he was looking really good.
If he could pop up with a couple of goals
season,
like he did with that Longford game you were talking about, then that would be brilliant as well.
Yeah, we could do with him. You know, like, I mean, we can do it all of it. The lads coming back from injury, but yeah, I just thought it was a kind of fresh perspective. Like, you know, we talk a lot about results on the pitch and stuff like that, but sometimes there is another side to football, and that is when you get a big setback and how you have to be patient.
Yeah, the journey back from that.
The journey back, like, and look, Keats is going through that now at the moment as well, and we probably get him on at some stage. You know, on a smaller scale, the likes of Malik and stuff.
I was
like
actually, funny enough, we're at the Crown Centre. I was out here with Keats yesterday. Briefly, he was doing a bit of promo around Walk and Roll that Crown have coming up, and he's still in the boot, but he should be getting the boot off in the next couple of weeks, and he's kind of going to have the freedom back, and he can start his proper recovery program then. So, no, he's still a long way off, but it's good to see that that's progressing as you'd want it to as well. So.
Yeah. It's very frustrating for someone in sport to get an injury. Look, none of us like to be injured. None of us like to be sick. None of us like to break something or anything like that, or pull something. But when you're in sport and there's a certain, especially if you're out for a long period, that's a whole section of your career has gone missing.
Yeah.
You can't get back. Like, I mean, careers aren't, you know, they don't go on forever.
Yeah.
It's not.
And
like,
League of Ireland careers are different as well to,
you know, so like it is tough.
Premier League football careers or something. Yeah. So it is a difficult one.
It is.
But one thing you notice is that they all seem to manage to keep themselves in good spirits, which is good, because obviously it's a difficult thing to contend with and have to deal with. But you see Conor there, like Conor's in great form. He kind of has, you know, he can see the finish line almost.
Well, he's gone
7
past
months
the
in.
halfway stage, like, you know, so that's the key thing.
It is good. No, it's great. I feel like we're always talking about injuries on here, but
I
Conor obviously being one of the players who wasn't one of this year's injuries. He's kind of holding over from last
season. Yeah. The good old days of
I know, even the day,
titles.
you know, he spoke about the TV shoot there where he was playing against Welly, and we were in town filming that, and even that day he's on crutches and we're trying to get him upstairs in the building, and all this is
it's just little things like that.
It does sort of, you know, people think a player gets injured and he can't play for a while. It actually affects them in their day-to-day life, like he was saying as well.
Like, sometimes it's the simple things that you can't do anymore, and you need help with and stuff like that. Like his mom leaving him upstairs because it was too, like, the last thing he wanted to fall down the bloody stairs. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so little things like that. Like.
So much more than you'd think of, like,
Yeah. So I know it's good to see him back on the road to recovery, and like, I mean, it was another interesting aspect there is that he has his degree in his back pocket, and you know, he might get back into that at some stage.
He did his college work as well. He kind of had,
you know,
one eye on football, but one eye on the real world as well, I suppose.
Yeah, and even him talking about they're playing for the Irish college team. Like, you know, it's a nice little win along the way to put on the jersey. You know, like, you never know, like, or even as he said, how much those lads valued winning that first division title last year.
Absolutely. But how many teams and players?
You never win anything.
Exactly. Only one club can be champions at the end of the season. Like, and so it doesn't come along regularly for everybody. So they have to be celebrated. We said it at the time. We know it was the first division, but it's still something to be celebrated. Yeah. It's your whole year's work.
So obviously we said it earlier on. This weekend we're away to Pats. But we are back at the cinema, in the Arc Cinema.
Back at the Arc Cinema, yeah. It's the first game since, just don't remember what the last game was that we had in the cinema. Sligo, was it? Derry and Sligo were the first two. So, back at the cinema on Friday. Tickets are on sale.
You can watch Liam Carney on the big screen.
Watch him on, you hear from him on the LOI TV interview beforehand. But yeah, tickets are on sale for that. If you go onto our social media or the Arc Cinema Cork social media, the link is going to be there. You buy your tickets through the Arc website.
I'd imagine a good few will probably make their way up the road. I know the tickets were on sale for the away end as well.
Yeah, those are all linked on all the socials as well. Typically is a good city crowd in Inchicore, so we'll be looking forward to seeing that. And as we were saying, hopefully we can get something. We were talking to Conor there beforehand, before we started recording. His debut was away at the Pats. I think it was July 23. And Rory Keating got a 93rd minute equaliser in that one. So that was an eventful one. So if something as fun as that would be great.
Yeah, it'd be like, hopefully. You never know. Like, the league threw up a lot of kind of funny old results last weekend again. It's behaving like that this year. There's not much in it. Like, so if you go on a bit of a run at all, like, you could be catching up again. Like, so, who knows? And obviously, as we said, like, there's a good chance that we might know by this time next week who the new manager is. Yeah,
we don't have any exclusives for the podcast anyway. No, I know everyone seems to think we know everything. We don't. I'll find out just before the tweet is sent. Like,
and I'll probably find out after it's out.
I'll send you the link a few minutes later just to keep you in the loop.
So like, we're definitely not getting exclusives. What we probably will get an exclusive on is probably a long interview with whoever takes over.
100%.
So that, like, look, I suppose, like, if you think about with Tim, he was on the very first episode.
He was.
And he was at the live show as well. So, that is one thing that we promise you that we'll definitely get access to.
We'll have the exclusive.
We'll have the exclusive long-form interview, as they'd say, like, I suppose, the in-depth, find out the real deal.
The sit-down interview, as they say.
We'll grill them.
Yeah. One other thing the new manager will be doing is the Celtic game. Super Value Parky Queeve. Tickets are still tipping away for that, so if you don't have yours, I'd imagine a lot of people do have theirs by now, but if you don't, corksupercup.com is where you'll get your tickets.
It's interesting to see what Conor was thinking of that, like, and he's disappointed he can't play, but like, people, like, again, like, the idea of playing Celtic, but the idea of playing a Parky Queeve, this is big for the lads as well. Like,
I think it's an interesting one. You hear from different people on it. Playing Celtic, the appeal of playing Celtic is great, but it's actually the appeal of being a Parky Queeve is what's really
seeing
exciting
a Cork City jersey in Parky Queeve is something that I never
imagined. It's something that would have been unthinkable a couple of years ago, but it is genuinely brilliant to see, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, so like, and who knows what will happen. The transfer window will be open by then as well, so there'll be a lot of things happen. There'll be potentially one or two new, because a new coach, new manager is probably going to bring in one or two people as well.
Yeah.
It usually happens, so
possibly. We'll see what happens by then.
Could be
we'll be up in the stands looking down at a few new faces, hopefully.
A few new faces, and obviously we'll be looking at some of the Celtic lads, and they'll probably have a couple of new faces as well pre-season. The nature of football in general. Look, there's it's been a crazy week in the club, but then that's football. We did this time last week. We didn't expect to be talking about we're going on.
This wasn't in the plan.
This wasn't in the plan. So, and
hope, look, as we said this time last week, we didn't expect this. Who knows where we'll be this time next week?
Yeah.
As I said, the process is well underway to get a new man in.
This time next week, we could be sitting down with
we could be. Who knows what will happen?
They might wait till episode 50.
We might have to keep it for 50, actually.
50, sounds good, like, there's an episode 50.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so, but look, we're still here anyway.
We'll be here.
We'll be here.
Unless something drastic changes, we'll be here.
Changes, yeah. And we look forward to hopefully a positive weekend for both the men and women, both heading
2 trips to Dublin.
And hopefully some positive results. So stay tuned. As I said, we'll get you that exclusive. We'll get that interview. So keep listening to us and keep subscribing to that podcast on the likes of Spotify and Apple. So that you get the notification when it happens, because it might come out of the blue as well.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out. As we say, we might have an exclusive interview, so you don't want to miss out on that. So we'll see you next week.
See you then.